Degloirespace signing in. Practice what you preach. We've all heard this, and I'd say for the most, we try to do it. Everyone says it, everyone expects it, but we all know, honestly, we can't do it all the time. When you go against what you generally preach, you might feel some anxiety inside you, a little voice inside you that tells you, hey, you're fake. But let's take a different take on it. Whenever somebody doesn't live up to their word, they're usually labeled with the word hypocrisy or hypocrite. How you know if you're a hypocrite versus you've just failed an attempt is pretending. In hypocrisy, a person actually does not believe what they say. If you are saying things that you don't believe in, yeah, okay, hypocrite. In hypocrisy, you're basically saying something with no intention of putting this to practice. You're saying it either to sell, either to pretend, to lie, to play some form of game. But if you're genuine about what you're saying, and sometimes you fall short, or for some reason you discover that you couldn't apply it, that's growth. That's the real thing. Before we go into the topic deeper, let's try to first understand the word preaching. And let's make sure we're speaking about the same thing here. If when you're preaching, you conclude and you believe that's the truth, I'm sorry to tell you, you will get faulted. You've basically thought, I hold it, and now I close myself off, no more learning. Generally, when the word preaching is said, we imagine somebody on stage and somebody telling people. Sometimes you might even associate it with like somebody who's prophesying stuff. And the listeners get affected by what this person is saying. First thing I want to note is that it is important that we have people who preach. When I say preach, I do not mean that they command and they're dictators and they're telling you how things are. A preacher, if we soften the word, it should be more like somebody who reminds you. Think of it like people who motivate us, people who give us glimpses of things in our psychology and try to push us. That's more or less what a preacher is. I know in general that word is associated with religion, but that's not what we're referring to here. People need the energy of being told and reminded that they need to do this so that the society and the people together can build something, can motivate each other, can get motivated. In a lot of circumstances, when people say practice what you preach, is basically just the things that you say. Are you putting these to practice? And here a lot of people might say to you, oh, if you're not going to practice what you preach, you should just be quiet. And that I find is quite harsh because we are communicative creatures. There's a reason why people go online, listen to things. We like communication. So people who tell you to be quiet, imagine you've said something and then somebody says to you, practice what you preach. And then you feel like, oh, I let them down. You shouldn't. You should look at your intention here. If while you preach or talk about the thing that you believe in, if you think you are superior to others, then look, I'm going to tell you, you're bound to get upset. And what will happen eventually is you're going to get let down. Something's going to happen where it's going to expose that you can't practice what you've said all the time. And then when that happens, you're going to get defensive. You were preaching to be dominant, to be assertive, to be seen, you want to force your leadership. You were loyal to your ego, not to the spirit of the message. And the problem with the ego is it can't handle contradictions. It can happen sometimes that you're going through something and you're going through your thoughts and then you get a massive thought, something grand. And when you get that, you think, wow, but you haven't reached that point. It's almost like you've seen a mountain and then you've drawn a plan of how you will climb this mountain. You're putting your intentions, you're saying, I'm going to climb this mountain, or actually you might have even started climbing that mountain. In this instance, you're saying something wise, something true, but you're not fully living it yet. It's more like, I'm sharing what I have. You see, it's not conclusive. You're describing a place that you want to be in. Think of it like when you're promoting working out. You don't stick to it, but you're promoting it. There's nothing wrong with that. The aim of your intention when you're speaking, it's for the better of people. Even it's for the better of you. Just because you had a cheat day or a day where you fell apart, it doesn't mean you're a hypocrite. And if you happen to be a communicative person, You're bound to speak about what you're going through, and people listen to you, and it's not wrong. Don't be taken by and say, oh, I failed yesterday, I never speak about this again. The worst thing you can try to do is fake perfectionism. And I'm sure you've seen channels online, especially in the fitness industry, where they want to show you this guy's in a suit, he walks down, he looks up, he puts, and then he's going for a run and they try to show you this perfectionism. We all know it never works like that. Don't be fooled by the camera and what appears behind the camera. Oh, this content creator's got all his shit together, but me. If you try to fake perfectionism, that's where you're taking the ego trip, because what wants to be flawless? It is actually the ego. Everything else, once you strip the ego away, a person doesn't mind failing. We don't care about failing. Failing is a good thing. It's us learning. It's about being real. And if while you're listening to this, it reminds you that life is not about perfection, it's about being real, then I want you to like, comment, and subscribe to Degloirespace. This is not a niche. This is a movement that aims at attacking the mindset from a holistic approach. So when you notice that something that you say you believe in slips up, what do? Do you hide it? Do you deny it? Or can you recalibrate yourself? Maybe it's time for an upgrade. Sit down, ask yourself, what do I preach? What made me do what I don't preach? Was something wrong or not practical in what I preach? And so here you're using the situation to better you. You're like, okay, something didn't go as planned. Where do I go from here? How do I better myself? This is always the core of what we try to do. And here, remind yourself of the word practice. They say practice what you preach. Practice. And practice is not the same as performing. And this gives a whole new meaning to practice what you preach. Practice means to repeat. And preach means to remind, means to motivate. So you're practicing the things that you're reminding yourself about. Okay, I'm reminding myself that it's better to eat healthy. I'm reminding myself that it's better to work out. I'm reminding myself that it's better to sleep early. I'm reminding myself, see, these are all the things you're preaching. And then practicing is, I'm going to do them again and again because I believe in the results that these reap. Don't pretend that you've arrived. Sometimes when we talk, we might get a little bit of that ego boost where you're like, I said this, and then you feel this grand. Be careful of that. That becomes your trap. When we're practicing, we got to remind ourselves there's a mess, there's a lot of effort, and there's reality. Sometimes reality says to you, you're not going past this today. And even after such blockages, we still say, you know what? I will move forward. Degloirespace signing out.